like to call the July 25th, 2018 regular meeting for the Piqua City Schools Board of Education meeting to order. Mr. Hiddle, please call the roll.
Mrs. McMacken. Here. Mr. Ford.
Here.
Mr. Bostic.
Here.
Mr. Height.
Here. Please stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, for all.
Okay, you should have had an opportunity. We have two sets of minutes, one from the public hearing from June 28th, the minutes from that. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second. Go ahead.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And you've also had an opportunity to review the minutes from our regular meeting on June 28th. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And we have the agenda for tonight. We have an addendum.
Yeah, we need to strike item number 10 on the personnel agenda. That person is no longer able to fulfill that position, so
Okay.
we're going to strike that one.
All right.
And we also added the, under new business for the board, the approval of a maintenance agreement for our HVAC system. That was added here. at the
Okay,
end
so
of the
that
day.
would be number 4.
Yep.
Okay, any other changes? Okay, if not, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
We have a second? Have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Upper Valley Career Center report's really easy. If you go to the state fair, the big thing is always to see the butter cow. But if you go to the state fair this year, you need to go and see Tony Trapp. Tony's there with the apprenticeship program from the Career Center, so you can see the butter cow and Tony. That's a twofer.
I thought you were going to say they made Tony Trap the butter display.
Well, he may be in there before the fair is over, but other than that, there's nothing to report. And I have nothing on hearing of the public. So, Mr. Hiddle, Treasurer's agenda.
Any questions about the, my computer literally crashed. Are there any questions about the financial reports that are, that you all have received? The only other thing I have is that tomorrow we'll be having an auction, silent auction, starting at 9 a.m. at the old board office, and it'll run until 4 p.m. We'll open bids starting at 4 p.m., and then we ask that all items be picked up by 6 p.m. tomorrow, if at all possible. So that's happening tomorrow. That's been a big event that we've been getting prepared for. So lots of desks, chairs, filing cabinets, lots of filing cabinets that are older, shelving, different things like that that we're trying to clear out of the old Board of Education office.
Okay,
That's all I have
so
for that.
be there with your bid die, with your bids and money, right?
Yep.
Okay, if there's nothing else, do we have a motion to approve the financial reports?
So moved.
Have a second? Have a motion and a second. Mr. Hiddle, call the roll on the financial reports, please.
Mr. Ford.
Aye.
Mrs. McMacken. Mr. Bostic.
Aye.
Mr. Height.
Aye, motion carries.
Trying to get caught up.
Okay. Miss-
Ready for mine?
Yes, ready for yours.
All right. First thing is we have a request from Mr. Dustin Hornbeck, who was a teacher here in Piqua City Schools, who is now in his doctorate's program at Miami University. He's doing a research project on how students and parents now have curricular options that they've not had in previous generations. So a lot of things like College Credit Plus and Flex Credit online courses have come about, and it significantly has changed the 12th grade year. So he's interested in how that 12th grade year has changed for students, parents, school districts, et cetera. So his purpose of the study is to explore that and how the student choices are affecting that year. So our board policy indicates before he does any kind of research that the board approves that. And he's here in case you want to ask any questions. He's talked to me already. I think he's talked to you. Again, he's worked here in the district, well trusted, and everything will remain anonymous in terms of how it's presented. So I'm seeking your approval for that. And if you had any questions, like I said, Dustin's here to answer those.
I know having taught seniors and looking at the way Dustin was looking at this, there's a lot of interesting questions in how the senior year has changed back from the dark ages in 19. So it looks like it's going to be a really interesting project. And I think his conclusions are going to be really interesting. It can help us move forward with our students too.
I agree. I'm anxious to get the research as well because it will help us. Any questions for Dustin before you give your consent or not? No?
That was
Right.
easy, Dustin.
Okay. All right. Next, we have Jennifer Garland, who would like to talk a little bit about some food service updates.
I have three different things this evening. The first is I'm asking for approval for the free and reduced lunch policy that we put out every year, press release. The second is our compliancy report, which we have to do every year, and it's just saying that what we sell in our schools is compliant. And at the time of this year's annual review, all Piqua City buildings are compliant with the current USDA dietary guidelines for Americans and the USDA Smart Snacks in Schools Nutrition Guidelines. That goes from fundraisers to what we sell in the cafeterias, and it encompasses the whole day the kids are actually in the building. And thirdly, I'm asking approval for a revision to this year's meal prices. We did that last month, and then I was working with the high school, and I found a way to buy a salad bar for the high school, and it's going to be where they can serve themselves soup and salad bar. So actually, we need to increase that price a little. We're at $2.20, which is for a regular lunch, which is great that we can do that, but we're way below. And I'm asking for an increase to $3 for the students and an 80-cent increase for the staff. And that's only for the soup and salad bar. And the way it's set up is when the kids go through, if you're on free lunch, you still get it for free. If you're on reduced lunch, it's still a type A lunch. So that's the only three things.
Our lunch prices haven't been
No.
changed for, 3 years, I believe, and still remain the lowest in our area.
Yes, we're very lucky that we can do that.
Yeah.
So if they don't get the soup and salad bar, it'll still be $2.20.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be the same as regular, they would still get the regular lunch. They'll have, at the high school, they have anywhere from upwards of 7 options a day.
Yeah.
So, the soup and salad bar. The advisory committee, when I went to meet with them, one of their big things was talking about fresher options and this kind of thing, and they specifically asked about a salad bar. So I started looking into it, and I think I actually have done it before at the last district I was at, and it went absolutely great for the staff too. Staff liked it. So,
Sounds like a good idea.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Next, we have Brad Bupp, who is here from Fanning and Howie. He's heading up the project, our safety projects that we're doing at the junior high and high school. So way back when we worked out the agreement on this, he had agreed to come at each of the board meetings throughout the summer to keep you updated about the timetable and are we on track and are we going to be ready for the start of the school year. So, Mr. Bupp?
Okay, of course, we're here to talk about the middle school and high school, those little projects in the entry. This is one of the few projects that can kind of go in there, don't have to worry about hard hat, because there's really nothing to fall. But they're going pretty well, on time, on budget. With the possible exception of the wood doors, may take a little bit extra to get here. Just didn't quite have enough time to get those in here before. We told them 8th was the final date, so we'll work out what they got to do temporarily, but really there's rather just leave them off until they come, probably. It's nice to see a general contractor and his whole group working well with your contractor on site too, so they're kind of playing well in the same sandbox, so that's good. Not a whole lot to report though. I mean, it's coming. There's studs and drywall and things going up. in the middle school, or I'm sorry, junior high, and they've cut holes in things in the high school, so it's coming right along. So it look like they're going to make everything except maybe those doors. So, any questions?
The 8th was set because that's the Indian days. We were hoping to have everything ready before the public came in, but if not the 8th, again, we'll have something in place by the time students come.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you. Next, I've invited Teresa Anderson to come forward. She and her counterpart, Scott Bloom, have done an enormous amount of work with teachers this summer with professional development and training and getting some programming in place for the start of the year. And that's very important to our updates. So I thought it'd be nice to have her come and give you some updates in terms of that work. And we need to recognize our teachers for the amount of time they've put in this summer.
I really wanted to update you this evening on the work that we've been doing in the English language arts area. And this fall, we're going to begin implementing our balanced literacy framework in all of our elementary classrooms. The curriculum audit that we did in 2016, 2017, and our K-3 literacy data made it pretty evident that we needed to have some more consistency in our instructional strategies and the resources that we were using in English language arts. So just a very quick background, balanced literacy framework is an instructional framework in how you design what the components of your lessons every day. The two main parts are the reader's workshop and the writer's workshop, and each day students should receive about an hour of instruction and direct instruction and practice in reading and an hour of direct instruction and practice in writing, which is why it's called balanced, because you're spending equal amount of time in both areas. Another critical part of the framework is guided reading, which is very targeted small group instruction in the reading area, which is where we really address meeting students who have deficits that need to be addressed, and also enriching students who are working beyond grade level, and continuing to teach the standards for that particular grade level. I have some more detailed information on all of that. If you're interested in reading it, I'll be happy to give you a little packet that goes into much greater detail, but that at least gives you a little bit of a summary of it. Just wanted you to know that we've invested a lot of resources in both professional development and actually purchasing resources to help the teachers and the students in the classroom. We've purchased the Lucy Calkins units of study for teaching reading and for writing. These units provide very rigorous and engaging lesson outlines. We've also invested in leveled books for guided reading and classroom library collections, which have resulted in hundreds and hundreds of additional books that are available to students within the classroom for individual reading and practicing of the things they're being taught. During the 2017-2018 school year, there were over 135 hours spent in grade level meetings providing professional development, and over 250 hours spent with individual teachers doing individual coaching and practicing and getting ready for this implementation. This past June, we had 5 days devoted to PD for using the resources that we've purchased and the new assessment system that we're going to use. We felt it was important to have a universal assessment system, K-6, before every grade level kind of did their own thing, and it resulted in some inconsistent ability to analyze data from grade level to grade level. So we have, we're going to also begin using it's called the BAS, the Benchmark Assessment System, and that's going to give us detailed information about where our kids are, fits into the work that we've been doing with the student profile and where kids should be by the end of each grade level. And this will give us an assessment, K-6, that will help us track whether kids are meeting those benchmarks and are where they're supposed to be by the end of the school year. I really want to thank the teachers for all of their hard work. They have spent hours and hours and hours getting prepared for this transition next year. Not only in the PD sessions that were held within the buildings all last year, but we have had teachers meeting in groups all summer long, weekly, at grade level meetings on their own, getting together, going through the resources, preparing lessons, getting materials ready, and I just think it's amazing that they are so dedicated and realize that there's a lot of work behind implementing these kind of changes, and so just want to give them kudos. Also want to give kudos to our literacy coaches, Tina Watts and Sarah Watson, who were responsible for the bulk of all the professional development that happened over the course of the year, the coaching, and this summer as well. And they've done a great job helping us get ready for this change. So exciting stuff. Really looking forward to the changes and seeing it happen. Long time preparing and getting ready for it. So hopefully this year we'll be ready to start some new programs, new resources, and I really think the rigor and the thoroughness of what we've done is going to result in great student success too. So, any questions? Anything I can-
Teresa, will this program fit with, will we be doing those new grade cards that'll let parents know exactly the skills that
Yes.
their children are lacking?
We
so they can
have
help?
we have completed all of the what we call mastery scales for every standard in English, language arts, and math, K-6. Wasn't going to bring that to this meeting yet because we still have to finalize the details on the report card. Our plan, though, following approval in August, most likely, will be to implement the standards-based report card in K-1 next year completely, and minor changes in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, or 2nd through 6th, where they begin using those scales in the numeric system, and then a more gradual transition as the kids move up, so it's not such a shocking change to parents. But all those scales are ready to go, and yes, the teachers will be incorporating the use of those within this framework also.
Sounds like you've put a lot of work to it.
There has been a lot of work, but it's good work, and
Well, it's
I'm
better to
excited.
go into it well-prepared than not.
Yes, and then we've been very diligent and purposeful about making sure that all the pieces and parts are in place so that we can implement it well.
Good.
Yeah, thank all of
Thank you.
That's awesome. Good job.
Finally, just some more information just to make sure we keep everything parents' sake. A lot of things are posted on the windows of the schools. Our website is full of a lot of information about the upcoming start of the school year. Just want to remind parents that our One View is up and running on our website, so if they've moved over the summer or have any new additional information they need to update us with, they can get on there and update their information about their child. That allows us to make sure our Instant Connect calls are getting out, our newsletters, and so on. They can also call the board office or the schools during normal hours and update any information. We'll make sure we're able to get that out. August 3rd, after 4 p.m., all the school class lists will be posted at Spring Creek, Washington, and Piqua Central. So parents are always interested in knowing when that will be, and that's when they'll do that. Just to remind everybody that the first day of school is the 14th for all K through 12 students. Our Indian days or our open houses are all posted on the website as well, and that's where parents can come and get all the information, meet some teachers and administrators, ask questions, and kind of get acclimated for the start of the school year. Again, our school lunch prices haven't changed. They're all the same. School supplies are a little different this year. Been trying to really get that information out to everybody in terms of we're asking parents to provide a book bag, some good quality wooden pencils, and that's important because those cheap plastic pencils just don't sharpen well. So if we can get some really good wooden pencils, that helps the student not be frustrated to whittle their pencil all the way down with one pencil sharpening. So, and earbuds. The earbuds are used because technology is used so much, and just for sanitary reasons, it's good if the kids can have a pair of those. They can get them for $1.99. It can be their pair, and then they don't have to worry about sharing those with other students. We'll provide everything else. We have reduced school fees this year from $40 to $20 at the elementary level, and from $46 to $26 down to the high school. And we'll use those school fees coming in to purchase the rest of the supplies. So just want to remind people that we're trying to get that information out as much as we can and make sure parents have everything that they need.
Well, that fee reduction will be so much help for a family, especially if you've got multiple students in the district. That'll be a
It has
big
been.
help.
We've gotten a lot of really good feedback on it, so I'm excited that we can really pass that savings on to our parents. That's all I have. So on my agenda, recommend the board approval of the attached list of donations for the Piqua City Schools. We do have a couple of people that donated from veterans. We have a new veterans wall that's going to be coming out at the high school, so we're excited about that. We have the veterans donated to the Piqua High School Marching Band from the Memorial Day Parade, and then Kroger has donated some to the Science Olympiad, so we appreciate those donations. Recommend the board approval of the attached Piqua City School District fee and reduced lunch policy for the 2018-2019 school year. Recommend the board approval of the attached food service department annual compliance report. I'd like to recommend the board approval of the revisions of the 2018-2019 meal prices per the attached document that Jennifer shared. Recommend board approval of the attached classified staff handbook for the 2018-2019 school year. Recommend board approval of the attached list of the Piqua Junior High School textbooks for disposal and removal for the inventory of the Piqua High School District. Recommend board approval of the attached list of technology equipment for the disposal and removal from the inventory of Piqua City School District. And that's it.
Okay, are there any questions? Okay, if not, can we have a motion to approve the superintendent's agenda, please?
So move.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, personnel agenda, you're obviously not Mr. Lyons.
I'm not Mr. Lyons, he's on vacation, so he had indicated, I believe we have a couple of spots left over. There are, I think, Title I positions that he'll be working on when he gets back. Principals of those buildings are working through the interview process, and I think when he comes back, he'll tie up all those loose ends. We do have a couple of guests here this evening with us, the first being Kendra Fox, who's been hired as a first grade teacher at Spring Creek Primary, and Kendra is a Piqua grad as well as a Piqua resident. I would like to invite you to come up and bring your guests with you if you'd like and tell us a little bit about yourself.
No.
Hello, guys. I am a Piqua grad. I'm coming from Mad River Local Schools, and I'm so excited to be here. And my husband is my guest, but he didn't want to step up. Brian Fox is his name. And I'm very happy to meet all of you guys.
Welcome, we're glad to have you.
We're glad to have you on board.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Next, we have Lauren Turner. Lauren did her student teaching here in Piqua, but has been in Bell Fountain, and we're glad to have her come on board. So, Lauren, would you like to introduce yourself and share what you'd like?
Okay, well, I'm Lauren Turner. I'm from originally Fort Laramie, and I did 3 semesters through college at Spring Creek at the old building, so it's kind of fun to be in a new building. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. I was 3rd grade at Bell Fountain for 6 years, and it's good to be back in the area. Home feels this way, so it's good. So I'm happy to be here.
Again, welcome.
Welcome.
The only 2 others I would just point out is Cameron Flaherty has been a sub-custodian for close to a year now and has applied and become a full-time custodian now, so we're glad that we could move him in that position. And Steve Zucker was the custodial service that was being provided at our old board office location, and we're not using that here, so we're able to get him shifted into a position at one of the buildings, so we're glad we could keep that in place and keep him with us. So otherwise, nothing else really on the report.
Okay. Do we have any other questions before we vote? If not, do we have a motion to approve the personnel agenda? Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
We have no old business and new business. We do have a few things.
The first item on there is one that we've been asked to do when we look at auditing and for our own public to be aware of what does the board give their blessing to as far as people who are out fundraising on our behalf. And so this is just formally approving the Piqua Indian Athletic Boosters, or PAB, and the Piqua Music Boosters as official fundraising arms of Piqua City Schools. We have a policy in place that covers all that information, and it allows me to be able to audit their books if necessary, and it just helps make sure that we've given our blessing to that, so that if other organizations are out raising money, that the public is aware that those are the only 2 organizations that are available to do that, minus our own local fundraisers for the school buildings.
Okay. Any questions about that?
The second item on there is to allow Dwayne and I to enter into agreements with the Miami County Educational Service Center. Throughout the year, we have different services that we have to be able to provide, and to be able to keep those contracts and continuity going, we pass this every year as a way for us to go ahead and have your blessing to do that. And the third item on there is the shared services agreement with the Upper Valley Career Center with our food service director, and we've been doing this for multiple years, and it seems to be working out fine, and everyone's happy and kosher with how it's working, and it helps spread that out, the cost of that, so it does help both parties out. in that
Well, I know
case.
from the Career Center side, it has worked out very well, so we're very pleased with the arrangement.
And the fourth item on there is to recommend that we enter into agreement with REAK Services starting on August 1st of 2018 through July 31st of 2021, providing preventative maintenance to all of our HVAC equipment throughout the district. This is the first time that we've undertaken something like this, where we've done a full service package kind of deal. We've went through all the information. We've looked at just doing preventative maintenance, doing full service maintenance. We've gotten quotes from 4 different organizations. We had 5 total show up to the pre-meeting, and we worked through all that information, and we've concluded that REAK has the best options for us moving forward. So we're asking for your blessing to have them come in and do that. So.
Well, I know on a much smaller scale, we have a maintenance agreement like that on our equipment, and it really does save a lot in the long run. And
You guys actually have REAK at Upper Valley as well. We talked to them about that today.
And I know that with ours at the museum, we get preferred if we have a service call. We get first dibs on the service tax. So it's I'm a firm believer in it. Okay, so any other questions? If not, can we have a motion to approve? Before we, maybe this isn't the place. If we heard anything else, has the auditor's office finally left us alone on the checkbook?
I have not heard anything further on that subject matter. I think you've taken care of that very well, and I appreciate it. I think Dwayne appreciates it. The regular phone calls were exhausting. And as far as the insurance goes, we have not gotten the final quote back. We have a binder that's in place. It's less than $100,000. It only went up by it was less than $3,000, and that's because we added those microbird buses on it and a couple other things. But
I know you were expecting a quote last month, so we are bound over.
we are bound. We just, because we had some tweaks, it's not completely 100% finished. We did add the furnishings and things in this building needed to be added to it, and a few other little things like that. So tomorrow during the auction, I should say again, we have the auction tomorrow. You know, I'm selling the auction, but we're getting rid of an S10 pickup truck. It's older. It would need some TLC, but somebody may want to put some money into it. But it's survived much as it's going to survive. But somebody may want it. We also have a dump truck that we're getting rid of that has a plow blade attached to it. So it also needs a lot of work done to it, but we're upfront about that. It is as-is stuff, but it's stuff that we've taken to the end. We can't take it much farther.
Are you going to be the acting auctioneer?
I'll open all the bids starting at 4 o'clock.
That might be worth seeing.
How fast can you talk?
So that's what we're doing it the silent auction way, so that I don't have to sit out there and talk like that. Plus, I don't have a license to do that. But it'll be fun. It's always good. People enjoy seeing what we have left over.
A big yard sale.
That's it.
Now, what happens is the items that are left over?
If there are nonprofit organizations that are interested in anything that's there, then we try to work through those. Otherwise, we get scrap money out of a lot of that stuff that's left over.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, can we have a motion on the new business?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. And I have no indications of hearing from the public on non-agenda items. Okay? Yep.
Paul here, class of 1944, township trustee. I heard you say about the truck. I took care of that truck the first few years we had. So I'm glad to see that you got it anyhow.
Yeah.
The reason I came, something happened 50 years ago. But a lot of you in this room don't know what happened that year. That was the year the state mandated that you had to have a 12th grade charter. So Washington Spring Creek became a part of the Piqua City School District. And this is the first month of the 50th year that this has happened. As a result, I'm the only surviving trustee, Board of Education from Spring Creek and Washington Township. A lot of things that went under the road. Now, I can say the previous board, when they took over, they've done a wonderful job. Because there was a lot of things happening that we didn't get to take care of, they took care of it. One thing, we got trouble with buses. They looked around and they found, oh gee, I lost his name. It's in there, just like all of us. Anyhow, from Versailles, we got him in to take care of the school buses. And you started from 12 school buses to what you got, 30-some now, to all these routes. And you're taking care of it. I wanted to come by and say, keep on going. And we were happy that the board kept the name Spring Creek and Washington. I thank you. If you got any questions, I'll try to answer for what happened 50 years ago.
That truck wasn't 50 years old, was it?
Oh, no. I don't remember the age.
This truck is,
It's about, what, 10, 11?
no, you mean the new truck that we just got?
No, yeah, the one from Washington.
Yeah, that one's more recent. We're talking about the one we're getting rid of. It
Oh.
actually, I think it's actually 50s or 60s, the ones that we're getting rid of that we've been hauling with. So
The one that you got from the town was
70.
yeah, because the brakes on that thing, it's a we like I said, we got it to it did its job. So we were happy that the township was switching out, and
Right.
it gave us the opportunity to be able to get something a little newer. So.
all right, sure. Okay.
Thanks for sharing the memories, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, remind everybody that our next meeting is August 23rd, 6 p.m. here at the board office. And if there's nothing else, can we have a motion to adjourn? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Are you growing your hair out?
Right, everybody.